Friday Foodies, where we talk with our local restaurateurs and chefs about their menus and their signature dishes. We talk to 80%, 90% of the time, we're talking with brick and mortar restaurants. But occasionally, from time to time, we like to bring in our roving restaurants and pop-ups, food trucks, and the like. And that is our focus this morning as we welcome Chris Canada to Friday Foodies. And Chris is the owner-operator of Roux Pop-Ups. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Mo. Appreciate you having me here today.
Really good to have you in, and I've enjoyed your food. Now, for people that may not know you or may not have encountered you, you've been popping up at a variety of festivals, and this has been going on for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half now.
So you've been and serving the Cajun food, the gumbo. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's become a passion for me over the last few years. I started out cooking Cajun food at the hospital that I worked at for a while, and then I moved in with a buddy of mine who lived in Louisiana, and we became good friends and started having crawfish boils, and I just kind of took to it. And, it's one of those things where I've just honed in this recipe, and gumbo is now my life.
The Queen has joined us in studio this morning.
Gumbo's a good way to live a life.
It is.
My wife, Robin, and she and I lived in southern Louisiana for a little while and got a real appreciation for Cajun food and that culture down there. And just delicious. I'm not a Cajun chef by any means, but I can tell you that I can make a roux. And, that's the name of your business, Roux Pop-Ups. A lot of people don't know what a roux is. It really is the base of the gumbo and any kind of like Cajun stew. And it is not particularly easy to make. Why don't you explain how a roux is created?
So a roux is created with, fat and flour, essentially. You heat your fat, whatever oil or you're using, and you add your flour to it, and you stand and you cook, and you stir and you cook. And you go...
There's a lot of stirring.
A lot of stirring.
It just keeps stirring.
And just keeps stirring.
And then you think you're done, and there's some more stirring to do.
And it keeps getting darker and darker, and then you think you're going to burn it, and you don't, and you just keep stirring it. And then it gets to the color that you like, and depending on what, entree you're making, whether it be etouffee or gumbo, you get it to the right color, and then you add your stock, and your stew is created. And your gumbo.
Get the mise en place, get your onions.
You make your roux, and then I have my trinity there. After the roux gets to the color I want it to, it's called sweating the roux. You add all your vegetables to it, and it caramelizes and cooks immediately, and that's the whole seasoning and the flavor that you get in your gumbo.
And gumbo has a very distinct flavor, and it comes from that roux.
It comes from the roux. It's almost a nutty, dark, almost burnt popcorn smell flavor. It's kind of a weird way to put it, but it is. It's a nuttiness that comes out in it that's not really replicated in any other dish.
And gumbo, it comes in a wide varieties. You can have vegetarian gumbo.
Vegetarian gumbo. You have seafood only gumbo. You do chicken and sausage. My gumbo, I put everything in the pot. My legacy gumbo has shrimp, crawfish, andouille, and chicken. Some people say that you shouldn't mix all that together, but that's how I like to eat it. I also season it with okra and filet powder, and it's one of those things that, there's no one way to make gumbo.
Right.
So mine is, special just to me.
It's interesting, because I talk about baking as a science. And cooking, like making gumbo, is an art.
Without a doubt.
And so you can really do, like you said, there's no real wrong way to do it, but there are some particularly right ways to do it as well.
I think people have a lot of strong opinions, too, about their gumbo.
They do, without a doubt. People like to think that they know how to make the best gumbo.
It's the best, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I think I make the best gumbo.
I thought your gumbo was awesome. I loved it.
Pretty good. It's and I got to say it's better than mine, but I make a good gumbo too.
Yeah.
Mine is though shrimp heavy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of shrimp, and put some crab meat into it too.
Yeah.
Give it that good
high-end gumbo.
Right on. Good stuff. Of course, chicken and sausage gumbo. That's always good. Now, that's not the only thing that you guys serve. And by the way, we're talking with Chris Canada. He's the owner of Roux Pop-Ups, Cajun food, gumbo. You've probably seen him at a number of the festivals around town. We ran into him at the Biscuits, Beats, and Brews Festival down in Cooper's a couple weeks ago. And there, we got a quart of the gumbo, which was delicious.
It was amazing.
Oh, man, was that good. And you're also doing, shrimp po' boys?
Yeah, doing shrimp po' boys. I have a shrimp and grit dish that I'm really proud of as well. I do make a good etouffee. I don't make it all the time because it's a little bit more intense.
What's the difference between gumbo, etouffee, and jambalaya?
So the etouffee roux is a blonde roux, and you use butter instead of just regular oil or lard. It's a lighter roux color. It's basically you just get it just coloring to the blonde, and then you add your stock, your tomato paste to it, and it's a different body. It's real creamy. I mean, it's got butter in it. It's
okay,
not,
right.
As opposed to the oil where, I can cook a roux for gumbo for an hour and get it to the dark brown that I want, and it doesn't scorch or burn.
But you're using butter, that's a different story.
No, butter is a different story. It's gonna burn a lot. If you try to cook butter roux for an hour, it's gonna burn.
Right.
And then jambalaya, that's your rice dish with all your vegetables and your stock and whatnot. It's not a roux in that. But
jambalaya is a lot more meaty.
Yeah,
type
meat
of
and rice
thing.
is it's a cooked dish. It's like a rice pot dish.
Okay. All right, very good. We're talking with Chris Canada. He's the owner of Roux Pop-Ups. Our Friday Foodies segment continuing. We've got Chris Canada, owner-operator of Roux Pop-Ups. Great Cajun food, gumbo. We talked about shrimp po' boys. I've got a big thing for shrimp po' boys. I've actually gone to New Orleans on a mission to just find the best shrimp po' boy.
It's the best sandwich.
It's a great sandwich.
I'm going to be doing a blackened shrimp po' boy tomorrow.
You're going to be out.
I'm going to be out tomorrow. We're going to be at a log boat tomorrow from noon till 8. Homecoming weekend. You can come out and get some gumbo, you get shrimp and grits, so you can do this blackened shrimp po' boy I'm going to have.
Nice. That is good. Now, what's the future going to hold for Roux Pop-Ups? Are you going to continue to be one of our roving restaurants, or is possibly a brick and mortar?
Mo, right now I'm building a brand. I'm enjoying my setup and what I'm doing. I love to be with a live music set. And for me, that's a big selling point. And that's why I tend to go out to Cooper's. I like to be over at Roux. I do Logboat a lot too because it's a venue that's accessible for people. But yeah, I like to be around the music, and a brick and mortar, sure, that's obviously what I'd like to have in the future. But for right now, I'm content with being a roving restaurant, being a mobile food vendor. I can pop up and cook anywhere. And if there's live music, it makes it even better for me and for my customers as well. But yeah, it's for the time being, I'm having fun cooking and popping up all over town.
Yeah. So, and Robin and I obviously have a lot of our favorite Cajun dishes that we were just talking about. Things like boudin.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting dish. A lot of people don't understand. I've brought boudin out at parties before, and gotten the strangest looks.
It confuses people.
It does.
They're
like, is this rice? Is this sausage? What is this?
Yeah. Well, explain to people, what is boudin?
So boudin, basically, you're cut a pork shoulder and you cook it down with seasonings and whatnot, and then you grind it down, add more green onion, parsley, and seasoning, and then you mix it with cold rice. And then you either roll into a ball and fry it, or you put it in a sausage casing and make like sausage link boudin.
Yeah, that's what I've always got as a link.
It's a link.
Where you don't actually eat the casing. You squeeze what's inside the casing out.
Well, I eat the casing, but
you do.
Yeah, you can do that. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
It goes both ways.
It does.
Great Cajun food, gumbo. We were talking about that. We're doing kind of like blackened catfish type stuff.
I don't do a blackened catfish dish, but I do love blackened catfish.
Yeah.
Like on a po' boy as well. It's just blackened shrimp are the go-to for the po' boy.
We just sit here and talk about our favorite Cajun dishes all day long.
Yeah, one right after another.
Yeah. What's a good Cajun dessert that people would serve? Is that anything?
Bread pudding is a huge one. That's kind of, or like a praline, like bundt cake of some sort like that. That's kind of where I tend to go to. I mean, obviously you can make king cake.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other
Right.
entity in itself. That's just for one meal a year for that.
That's a holiday food.
Maybe we'll get
exactly.
you back around Mardi Gras and we can talk about
we'll
king
do a Fat
cakes.
Tuesday at King Cake.
That'd be a good deal. Chris Canada, look for him at the festivals around town. Look for him at Logboat tomorrow.
Correct.
And you have some other locations that you'll be popping up?
Yeah, we'll be at Cooper's before the end of the season. And then, come this beginning of next year, I'll have some pop-ups at a few different restaurants here in town. And and Rose Music Hall, for sure. I'll have a couple more dates there as well.
A couple things I wanted to ask. First of all, spice. A lot of people, when they hear Cajun food, they think, oh, that's way too spicy for me. It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to be. I like to make food that's accessible to people, and it's not going to blow you out of the water. I've got some stuff on the table that if you want it hot, I can make it hot.
Right. Yeah.
But I like it to be.
That's me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's me. Load it up for me. Hurt me.
But if you want it, it's well-rounded. It's balanced. I hang my hat on that.
Yeah. Very accessible.
Like I said, if you want it hot, I'll make it hot for you.
It's about the flavor, though, not the heat.
It's not the heat. It's
the depth of flavor.
Depth of flavor. And, you need some heat to balance it and
Right.
to make it what it is. But I'm not trying to blow you out of the water.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We always ask our restaurateurs before we wrap things up, can you name somebody else here in town that you think is doing a great job at serving food to us? Another local restaurateur or chef that you admire or maybe,
Where do you like to eat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. Shelly LaFada.
Okay. Pasta La Fata.
Pasta LaFada.
We've had her on the show earlier this summer, and she's fantastic.
She's fantastic. There's really nothing on the menu that I don't like. So if I'm going to tout someone else's food here in town, it's going to be hers.
All right. You and I were talking off mic about the meatball subs.
Yes.
They were pretty good. All right. Chris, it's been great visiting with you. And thanks for coming in this morning and talking with us. Really looking forward to seeing you out and about. Roux pop-ups. Look for them about. Queen, thanks for coming in this morning.
Nice to see you again.
We'll see you at lunch. All right.